Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, Tammy Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello everyone, and welcome to this special Valentine's episode of TLC for the Soul. We are here today to bring you messages of love, faith, hope, healing, whatever your tender heart might need around this special time. Of course, this is a timeless episode, but I am recording this several days before Valentine's Day, and I am bringing in a power couple, a twin flame union that I've been wanting to speak with for quite some time now. So let's get ourselves settled and into sacred space so we can start this conversation today with Rick James and Teena Marie. I'll give you a little bit of background on how I came to be speaking with these two. We'll get our totems and our magic things going here, get us all set up. So if you're a new listener to the podcast, welcome. You'll very soon see how we work here, and you're welcome to just drop in and stay a while. And if this resonates with you, there's all sorts of resources on this podcast every month to help you on your journey. Returning listeners, thank you so much for being with me on yet another episode of the podcast. This one, we're going to dive into love and what it means to love yourself as well as love that special someone. So first today, I've been guided to bring in some incense that's called Hope. And let's see what it's got. I always forget what it has. Sandalwood, frankincense, vanilla, ginger lily. So we're going to go ahead and light that so you get yourself comfortable. So I'll take a deep breath together. All right. So we have our incense going. The other thing I was guided to bring in is a magic potion called Magica Rosa, a recovery blend for the tender-hearted in all of us. So I'm going to put some of this potion on. It smells mainly like roses and jasmine. All right, now I'm wrapping us all in love light and light love and officially opening our sacred space. Grab yourself a cuppa, whatever you want to drink. Oh, this Hope incense smells so good. I'm sending it to you through the airwaves. I'm creating a circle of light around us. And I'm inviting in the guides that want to work with us today. So you choose your listening experience, as we always say here on the podcast. You can choose to just listen kind of at a high level to the information that's being shared. You can choose to take it a step higher and listen for the meanings, metaphors, information that might be meant for you, messages coming to you from Spirit. You can take it a step higher, choose to receive guidance, healing, messages, invite in your own spirit guides into this sacred, safe space, sacred circle to join you here. Choose to receive any healing, downloads, activations that may be coming from my voice, which in and of itself is an activation of light language for those that choose to receive it. Into this sacred space, I call in Archangel Michael, and I ask him to help me to bring in the highest version of the selves of Teena Marie and Rick James. And they've actually been here with me now for a couple of days, so I'll share with you before we just start talking to them, because I don't want to spend a lot of or any time really talking about their 3D lives. I don't know if everyone here listening is familiar with who they are, but they were a musical couple. They were musicians in their own right, so solo performers like Rick James, very significant artist of like the 80s and 90s, and I'm not gonna like get all down in their history. And Teena Marie the same. And Rick transitioned, and then kind of strangely a little while after that, Teena transitioned. And way back at what I didn't know then was the beginning of my own twin flame journey, but way back in the early 2000s, I first heard the song Fire and Desire, and it was a duet that they did together. And I was like, what is this? Like, I just get emotional just even thinking about it. And they're bringing in a lot of emotion. So expect this podcast to be a little bit emotional. And this is healing and information here for masculine and feminine. So don't think divine masculine, if you've stepped into this episode, that it's going to be all for women. This message is for you too. So I first heard the song, and I was like, I knew just at a high level who Rick James was from some of his music, and Teena Marie, like I loved her voice. But from that, I didn't know much more about it then. But I heard the song, and I was like, I have to know more about where this song is coming from, because I could feel so much coming from it, like more than just it being a song. And when I read the story behind the song of their relationship with each other, I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so much more to it here than what happened to them in the 3D. And every time I would kind of connect with them, I would feel that. I would feel like Rick's passion for Teena and Teena's love for Rick, and I was like, oh my God, it's almost like overwhelming. And then yesterday I was tapping into the twin flame divine union energy, and pulling some cards, and I pulled some cards from my own decks. And right now the energy for unions is kind of around, conquering fears, about your own personal fears, about maybe being in union with another soul who you feel maybe you're one, your soulmate, your counterpart. And maybe you are in union listening to this, and maybe you're wanting to be in union with someone, like you know who they are, and you want to build on that relationship. Or maybe you just know there's someone out there for you, but you don't even know, like in the 3D world, like who they are right now. Like you know who their soul is, because it's a soul that you've shared many past incarnations and lifetimes with, and you just know that soul is out there somewhere, and that soul is meant to find you. You're meant to find each other. So I drew a card about conquering fears, about what does all that mean? What does that mean in its many myriad forms? And then I got two cards from my own personal deck. The Dragons, no, it's not. I'm going to call it Dragons of Lancashire again. It's Labyrinth of Dragonshire deck. And I got the Fire card, Dragon Fire card, and I got the Fire and Desire card. And I was like, Fire and Desire, isn't that a song? Like it kind of had slipped my mind because I've drawn these cards together for a few days, like 2 or 3 days in a row now. I kept getting Fire and Desire. And I was like, oh, I guess that just means it's some spiritual fire. Like I was getting a lot of work done. And I was like, there's some spiritual fire surrounding what's going on here. And then I kind of stopped for a minute. I'm like, Fire and Desire, isn't that a song? And I'm like, yes, that's Rick and Teena. And so I went to YouTube and I'm like, I have to see them live singing this song because I've heard it. So I first read the lyrics and I'm like, wow, these lyrics are a song, yes, but they were more like a love letter from Rick to Teena. And I was like, wow, this is pretty powerful. And then I watched them do the song live and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even watch it. Like it took them an hour to do the song. Like Rick talking about stuff and Teena, and they were in these like amazing like star seed. They looked like star seeds. They had these like glittery sequined outfits on, and they looked like superheroes or something. And I was like, oh my God, this relationship goes so deep. And in the beginning of the video, I'll have to post the link to it if you want to see it. But at the beginning of the video, it's Rick by himself, and he's like talking about, his relationships with women and how he wasn't very nice to them and this, that, and the other, and how he finally made some decision that he was going to like stop, he was going to treat other people the way he treated himself, which apparently was supposedly good, but I don't know. Like his 3D life wasn't that, there was a lot of like, yeah, he's saying there was a lot of self-harming going on. So he doesn't know why he really said that other than to like please the audience. But he had a certain persona, like very powerful. If I looked past all of the like 3D crud, like a very, very powerful, very sensual, very passionate, divine masculine energy would come through. But when Teena came onto the stage, like I swear, when Teena came onto the stage, like his whole persona changed. And every time he looked at her, it was the way you've always seen like in movies, like where you want someone to look at you. And the way she looked at him was like the same way, like playful. She to me was like, he was like this, it was almost like role reversal. Like when he looked at her, he turned into the feminine. And when she was with him, she was more of the divine masculine energy, because I saw her very playful, and there was just something about them that was so perfectly aligned in the 5D. If they only had been able to, it just wasn't meant for this incarnation that they worked out a lot of those things. They did do a lot of soul work, but I want to bring them in now, because that's kind of where I left it yesterday. I was like, they're my Valentine's Day episode for sure. For sure, I want to talk to them. And so I found the photo of them that's in our thumbnails for the episode today. And I was like, this is how I see them. Like it was just power couple to the max in this photo. And I like to bring in photos when I work with energies that have transitioned. I like to bring in photos of them that aren't the ones you typically see out there. And so I didn't purposely put the photo of them on stage. I found this other one and I was like, they just look so like, oh, it's just so powerful. So I'm going to ask them, hold on here, and just check in with them, because we usually cover a few key points, and I'm bringing them in, not so much to share their story, but for them to share messages with you of love, relationship. What does that mean around this time? What does that mean if you're not in union, if you are in union? Like, I just want to hear it from their perspective, knowing that they are twin souls. Like, they just are. There's just no doubt about it. So hold on one second. Let me just see. So they said they want to talk about fire and desire, of course. Why not? Love and loss. And then that's it. So fire, desire, love and loss. Wow. All right. I've also brought in a card deck called Believe in Your Own Magic. Sometimes that just helps the messages get focused. So I'm going to pull a card for fire and desire, and then I'm going to let them share their messages with me. I'm not going to trans channel them, because that's just, there's too many energies. I don't want to go back and forth. I have done that before, but we'll see what comes out from that. Let's just see how they want to speak through me. So here's the card. This is again from the Believe in Your Own Magic deck from Amanda Lovelace. Okay, you guys, fire and desire. What do you want me to just talk about? Okay, so for fire and desire, we got the Phoenix. How's that for a happily ever after is the card. And it's a girl like standing with her back on, we can only see her back. She's kind of holding her hands up as all this lava and flames and stuff are around her. And there's just like a book with an open page kind of on the ground next to her. So the energy of the Phoenix, and what does this have to do with fire and desire, and how did it apply to Teena and Rick, and how does it apply to you? So they're saying that that's all they ever wanted with each other was a happy ending, a happily ever after. But they let so much they're using bad words. They let so much like crap get in the way of their relationship that it like the best parts were left behind, they're saying. The best parts could have been so much more, but they were both like really stubborn and they wouldn't allow themselves to have that happily ever after ending. Because I think like Teena's passing was somewhat strange. Like I don't know. I don't want to go there, but it was just kind of like when you say like someone transitions and then the other kind of goes a little while later, like from a broken heart. It's kind of what I got, kind of what I sensed from that. And that it really wasn't a happily ever after because she just missed him so much that she couldn't stand to be without him. And they had always planned to, it sounds like, transition together, like when they created their soul contract together before they came into this incarnation. But she says he surprised her by passing first. But what does this have to do with fire and desire and happily ever after? So they're saying don't let petty stuff get in the way. And I think because of the intensity of their relationship, like it scared them. It almost like scared them both in a way to go too deep. So they kept it superficial because they lost themselves in each other, they said. And the power and the intensity of that was like too much for both of them to handle. And so they both would continually like pull back until they just decided like, this is just too much. And there was a lot of self-worth issues there. Like, do I really deserve this love? Can I really love myself enough to make the sacrifices I'm going to need to make? Like from Rick's perspective, like giving up, his other life that was a little bit more like the on the road, love him and leave him kind of, he's saying his sex life, like groupies and all that. Like could he really be faithful to one person was his kind of conundrum. And he just felt like he never really could come to terms with that. And so they just decided to just not be together in this lifetime. It was like such a hard lesson, such hard lessons to learn, that will only make them stronger, in the end, if they decide to come back again. So their big message too is like, don't compromise, don't settle, which has been coming up in so many of our other podcast episodes for this month of February. Like, don't settle, don't compromise. And yeah, their love is just so powerful. I mean, anybody with an open heart should be able to look at both of them and feel that. Just feel that, all the other stuff aside. And let me just see if there's anything else they want to say about fire and desire. They're saying don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to love and to let yourself be loved. Yeah, it's like they let themselves feel it every now and then they would pull back from it because they would get scared. So like the beginning of the video that I was telling you guys about, he starts talking about how he meets her and he could tell that there was something different about the relationship and that they had like a, one night stand or whatever. And then that she told him, if you want the jewel, which to me in this case was her heart, like if you want the jewel, you're going to have to take me to Paris. And so he's like, I rented a private jet, like right then and there, and I flew her to Paris. And he's like, I wouldn't do that for just anybody. So you have to, I have to put this video in there so you guys can watch the YouTube video from them. So, it's just so good. So it's just like, just allow yourself. It's just like I go back to this in Practical Magic a lot. Was it Practical Magic? No, it was Halloween Town or something. It's like, what is magic? And it's like, you just intend what you want and you let yourself have it. I think the kids, Marley or one of the kids, tells the other one, like, Grandma says that magic is like, you just intend what you want, you just decide what you want and you let yourself have it. I think it was in the first movie in Halloween Town. Don't give up on love. Intend what you want and let yourself have it. Don't compromise. And don't be afraid of the power and the intensity of this love. Okay, so they're saying that's all they want to share about that. So the next thing then they want to talk about is love and loss. And I got two cards there. One was the voyage. You already have all the answers. And it's like a girl on a boat looking at a map. And there's like I don't know what it is, if it's like a whale tail or a mermaid tail coming out of the water. She's on the deck of a boat. And the other card that came out with it is dragons, slay them all. And it's like a girl with a sword, and there's dragons all over this castle, and she's, I guess, going in to slay them. This card is always about conquering your fears and having courage. So what do they want to say there about love and loss? Voyage, you already have all the answers, and dragons. So it's like you already have all the answers within. You just have to have courage. Love and loss. They're saying it's really the same exact message as fire and desire. That if you don't conquer your fears and don't question your heart, because the answers are in your heart. The love that you feel, as intense and powerful as it is, it's inside you. But you have to have the courage to accept that and to want to move forward and to want to have that in your life and to not settle for, second best or the one that got away. That's what this is. That's this tail coming out of the water. This is like significant of the one that got away. It's like they knew within them all along, they knew that the answer to love was each other. But they let, I'm going to cry. They let each other get away because they didn't have the courage to face their fears around what it would be like to always be together. Wow. They're like, the message is so hard, yet it's so simple all at the same time. And we can make this thing called love, this thing called relationships with, your significant other, your soulmate, your twin flame, whoever you want to call it, like we can make them so complicated in our minds. We can come up with all of these answers and reasons for why we can't do this. We can't have this for ourselves. And they're saying that really all you have to do is the map is in your heart. The map to love is in your heart, and it's written in your soul. And your one, the one that you're meant to be with, is part of who you are. Your twin is part of your divine DNA. They're a part of you. And that's why in this workshop series I've been doing with Liz from Guided by Angels on YouTube, and I've been doing this anyway, like before I even joined her channel. But the sacred union, part of that is merging with the other soul, merging with your twin. And so we practice merging ascension columns and merging chakras. And you see them coming into you, your twin coming into you, and you merging with them, and you merging your ascension column. And you can do this anytime. You can just envision them coming into you, or you going into them. I just see myself as like me, and then my counterpart standing next to me, and we just kind of slide into each other and just kind of become one being. And we become one ascension column and one set of chakras and one heart. And we just say, like, we're one soul, we are one. We're one soul, we're one love. We are safe. We are divine. We are love. So I want to kind of know, what are Teena Marie and Rick like doing right now? Okay. They said they're living it up in another star, on Andromeda, in another star system. So they decided not to reincarnate back on Earth right away because they needed time together. They needed time together to heal before they come back and try to do this all over again here. Because this 3D planet, for starseeds, like we've talked about this in some of the starseed episodes, like it's challenging. And other planets and other star systems don't have some of these same challenges that we have here with the density and all the Earth school stuff, and they're like, they just needed a break from Earth school. They needed a break from Earth school, and they're together. I know they're together. Well, you can never be apart from your twin, but I just see them like having a good old time together, like they committed to each other somewhere. to just go like, yeah, they worked so hard. They're saying they worked so hard in their life. They really needed a break. So back to the Phoenix card. How's that for a happily ever after? They really did end up together. They always will. They always have, and they always will. So if we take a step back from the Teena Marie, Rick, James, like their life as those personas, they're always together anyway. So, sometimes when I see some of these power couples that, didn't have the courage to kind of make it in this lifetime, or a lifetime that they have right now, I have to take a step back, and it makes me feel a little bit better to know, like, well, they're together anyway. They always are, and they always will be. Hopefully, some of you listening who have to make that decision in this lifetime, kind of do it sooner rather than later, because your counterpart is waiting for you, and it's going to be so amazing and so awesome. And if we can just get over all the fears and the tears and the stuff that surrounds some of the materialistic world, that what is the word? Like impinges? I don't even know. Infringes on just letting two hearts be together as one. Just enjoying the voyage and committing to the voyage. What's your commitment? Is this what you want in your life? Do you feel it? Do you feel it in your heart and soul, but you're just afraid to move forward because of all the, like, what will my, all the crap? Like, write down all the fears. What is my person going to think? Maybe they'll reject me. Maybe they won't love me. Why? Why do they want me? Like, what is it about me? Like, get over all of that. Like, Rick's like, just get over yourself and get on with it. Get over yourself and get on with it. Just slay all those fears. Do whatever it takes. Like, do whatever it takes. Oh, there's some movie where it's kind of like, just do whatever it takes. Like a warrior spirit. Like a warrior. Like, just do whatever it takes. Fight. This love is worth fighting for. This love is worth fighting for. So just intend what you want and let yourself have it. They're saying that's all. They are complete. We are happy. We are one. We are love. Oh, such good messages. Such good messages. I'm just going to leave it at that and just wish you all, I call it Love Day, Valentine's Day. Like, I don't have any expectations about it, but just the fact that we're celebrating love is celebration enough. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to thank Teena Marie and Rick James for joining us today. And we will see you all again in the next episode. Take care. This episode has been brought to you by the Thunder Rose Ranch and Forest, a sacred place where the beings of light surrounding its etheric location are here to teach love to all humanity. We want to thank you so much for joining us. Take care.